Hi everyone, welcome back to Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Today's video is my TBR for the month of December. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name's Alice and I have way too many books, and in today's video I'm going to be going through some of those way too many books that I hope to get to in December. Editing Alice here, I'm also going to let you know in this video who has won my recent giveaway to win This Devastating Fever and Careless. And there's going to be two separate winners, so I'm going to spin for those now. Thank you to everybody who entered, and this was just a UK giveaway this time. I will be doing an international one very soon. So let's spin for Careless first. I've got my wheel of names and we're going to spin it for Careless by Kirsty Capes. So good luck everyone. And the winner is... Kerry Evans 3231. So if you are Kerry Evans, please do let me know via Instagram or via email what address you would like me to send Careless to. So let's close that and spin again. I've got another wheel for This Devastating Fever, but I'm going to take Kerry off it so that we have a new winner for each. Okay, so let's spin for this book. Good luck. And the winner is... Tabitha Hempshall. So congratulations Tabitha. If you could send me your address, I will send you This Devastating Fever. That's it for the giveaway this time. I will also put the winners' names in the description box down below, and also how to contact me. So congratulations to Kerry and to Tabitha. Now, as you may or may not know, I have been trying to get my giant TBR down to 150 books this year. As it stands at the moment, I'm very, very close to doing that. But I do want to get it firmly below 150 because I know that I will get some for Christmas and I don't want it to go back over 150. So I've still got quite a fair bit of reading from my TBR to do in December. But I do have a couple of books from the library for December as well, and I do have a few books that I am planning to reread because there are a few sort of readathons, read-alongs, events that I'm interested in starting in December. So nothing new there. But I am going to limit my participation in these to stuff I can read from my giant bookshelf. So it's mostly going to be a month of reading from home, aside from the odd library book. So let's start with a library book. The first book that I definitely will be getting to in December is for the FOMO Book Club. FOMO Book Club is the book club that I run with Gemma from Gemma Books and Jack from Spread Bookjoy, and we've been reading all of the books, well not all of the books because that would be loads, but some books that we fear we've missed out on. And we've had lots of lovely people join us, but if you would also like to join us, please do see our Discord link or our Goodreads link in the description down below, and you'd be more than welcome to join us for any of our upcoming reads, which I will also leave in the description down below. Our book for November and December is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. This one is a reread for me, but it's a book that I don't remember an awful lot about other than that I liked it. I've read one other of Shirley Jackson's books, which is The Haunting of Hill House, and I've actually read that one twice, so I see no reason why not to read We Have Always Lived in the Castle a second time as well. I do remember this being quite a creepy book, quite unsettling, and I am looking forward to reading that again in December. That will be a library book because I don't own it. There are 3 events taking place in December that I'm also interested in joining in with, which are Remember December, Winter of Wyndham, and obviously with it being a Winter of Wyndham rather than a December of Wyndham, I could read the book I've selected for that in January or February as well, but I would hope to read it in December. I'm not sure yet. And the third one is Christie's Missing, which is now the 3rd year for the idea of this being that we should read Christie during the dates that Agatha Christie went missing, when she went missing for 11 mysterious days. I will be participating in that again, although I feel like I'm not participating in it as much because I'm not reading as much Christie, but that's because I've got so little left of Christie now that my options are a bit limited unless I reread. But rereading does tie in nicely with the other event for the month. So before I get on to either of those events, the first thing I wanted to talk about was Winter of Wyndham. And this is a project dreamed up by Gareth from Book Songs and Other Magic. And Gareth is encouraging us to read John Wyndham in the winter months this year. I have one John Wyndham book on my shelf. I've read and enjoyed one Wyndham book, and I've read and not enjoyed another Wyndham book, but I'm still pretty confident that this is an author I'm really going to like. And as well as this one that's on my shelf, I do have a few John Wyndham audiobooks downloaded that I might also get into over the winter. So the book on my shelf is The Midwich Cuckoos by John Wyndham. I've wanted to read this for ages, so I would really like to get to this in December. Yeah, the cuckoos aspect is referencing the fact that cuckoos lay their eggs in other birds' nests. So in the quiet village of Midwich, I believe mothers have given birth to children that are maybe not exactly theirs or something. Sounds pretty much super creepy. Sounds like very good John Wyndham stuff. So I'm looking forward to getting to this. I think I might have the audiobook as well if I wanted to listen along as well, but that is my main pick for Winter of Wyndham. My audiobook options for this would be The Chrysalids, which I think is John Wyndham's probably other most famous book that I haven't yet got to. I also have amongst my audiobooks Trouble with Lichen, which I don't know anything about, and Chocky, which I don't know anything about. I think I've had it recommended to me when I talked about John Wyndham before. I can't remember who by. Those are my Winter of Wyndham picks. Coming on to stuff that definitely is taking place in December as opposed to just winter. Remember December is a new event that is going on, and this has several hosts. I believe it is the brainchild of Anne Novella and Elizabeth from Bookhans and Books, and they've also got some co-hosts which include Roz from Scallydandling About the Books, Aaron Facer, Criminally, Sandy at Miss Reads a Lot, and Shelley Swearingen. Great plethora of hosts there, and this is a readathon with a difference because it's about encouraging people to reread. Now, I have reread a fair few books this year, but I do definitely, as Roz said in her introductory video, have the tendency to overlook rereads for shiny new things. When you've got a giant TBR, you can't help but look to that TBR rather than to the books that you've already read. I have, however, very much enjoyed some rereads this year, particularly my reread of Susan Cooper's The Dark is Rising sequence. There are 3 prompts, and I do have 3 rereads that I want to do in December. So let's go through those first. One is to reread a book you've basically forgotten. So that works perfectly for me with We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson, the FOMO pick, because I have basically forgotten it. I can only really remember like one detail of this book. Perfect time for a reread. Prompt number 2 is to reread to find out how you really feel about it, which is a great prompt for this book that I've been meaning to reread for a long time, The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie. This also plays into Christie's Missing readathon, so hopefully I will read this in the 11 days that is running. I need to reread this to find out how I really feel about it, because I've always had this down as like one of my favourite Christies. It's a very, very clever book. It's a book that you definitely want to go into without any spoilers, but yeah, definitely a book that Christie has been highly acclaimed for. However, when I've looked back on my book journals, I've discovered that I've claimed to be really annoyed by the ending of this book. So I definitely need a reread to see how I feel about the whole thing and see if it's still in my top 10 or top 12 Hercule Poirot books. That's going to be my main reread, I think. And the third prompt is to reread a book differently to how you read it last time. So this one's going to be a book that, unlike the other two, I have read super recently. I read this for the first time, believe it or not, last Christmas, and that is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Now, I first read this in physical form, and this year I plan to reread it, but using an audiobook, and I think the audiobook that I have got hold of might be narrated by Hugh Grant, so that could be interesting, and I will be very interested in how he reads that. The reason why it's incredibly surprising to me that I first read this book last year is because The Muppets Christmas Carol has long been my favourite Christmas film, possibly my favourite film of all time. I just think it's absolutely epic. I love it. I watch it every single Christmas Eve, and I think it's such a good adaptation, and I don't normally like adaptations that much. I thought that finally coming to it and reading it last year after so many years of watching the Muppets take it on, I feel like it's actually quite a faithful adaptation, obviously taking into account the fact that they've done it all with the Muppets. I love this story of Scrooge and Christmas, and I'm going to be buddy reading this time with the lovely Harmony, who has a booktube channel as well, which I'll link in the description down below. I do have a couple more buddy reads, but first of all I want to mention what I'm planning for Christie's Missing readathon. Using Christie's Missing as an excuse to read general mysteries. There isn't Cloak and Dagger Christmas this year, and I like reading mysteries in December. I like doing Christie's Missing, but I can't really read that much Christie this year because I've read so much of it. Christie's Missing is in its third year now, and it's being hosted by Naomi's Bookshelf, Berna's Bookish Adventures, and Rachel Fryman. I have already mentioned that I'm going to be reading The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. I'm going to reread this for the first prompt for the readathon, which is to read a book that Janelle was too fond of. And I think that Booktube greatly misses Janelle from Too Fond of Books. I certainly do, and I wanted to reread this book in her honour since the summer when Janelle sadly passed away. So I think it's lovely that this readathon has a prompt to read one of Janelle's favourite Agatha Christie's, and this is one of them. I am going to be reading it. And I also have got hold of a copy of another Agatha Christie that reminds me of Janelle, which is The Man in the Brown Suit. So if I do get a chance to read another Agatha Christie, it would be this one, but I'm not sure whether I will get a chance to or not. One of the prompts was Miss Marple, and it was to read a book with a protagonist or a character who is over 50. I'm not sure I will read for this yet. My Agatha Christie options that I have left that I have not yet read are the plays that are contained in Witness for the Prosecution and Other Plays, or I could read another Mary Westmacott book, which was the pseudonym of Agatha Christie. I don't know if any of these feature characters over the age of 50. Plays in this are Witness for the Prosecution, Towards Zero, Verdict, and Go Back for Murder. Don't know if any of those feature characters over 50. Maybe this one. I'm not sure whether I'll be fulfilling that prompt, but both of these are options for the readathon. Might not get to all 4 plays, but might read a couple or one, and might get to A Daughter by Mary Westmacott if I have time. There's also a prompt, Tommy and Tuppence, which is to do a buddy read. And although this isn't Agatha Christie, it is about another author who was very important to the mystery genre, and that is Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And this is Arthur and George by Julian Barnes, which I'm going to be reading with the lovely Carolyn from Carolyn's Reading Ramblings. And yeah, I've had this on my shelf for far too long, and it's quite a chunky book, but this is about Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and I presume it's also about a character called George, and I'm not too sure beyond that, but I think that the two of them are brought together by a case that Arthur Conan Doyle potentially helps with. Looking forward to finally reading this, and I might count this as my buddy read for this readathon. Another prompt is to read a book with mystery in the title. I haven't got a plan for that one as yet, but there are plenty of Agatha Christie options there, also in her short stories. There is also a prompt to read a short story. I think this prompt was called Parker Pine. I think the mystery in the title one is called The Mysterious Mr. Quinn. They were definitely both named after Agatha Christie characters, so I don't have one for the mystery one as yet. It's a short story I actually might read. Again, not Agatha Christie, but it does have the word crime in the title, and that's Lord Arthur Saville's Crime by Oscar Wilde. That's definitely a potential for December because it was on my list of 23 classics I wanted to read in 2023. I haven't got to it yet, and it is a short story, so it would be good to get to in December. That's what I've got so far for the Christie's Missing readathon. If I do end up reading something with mystery in the title, great. If I don't, then at least I will have read some Agatha Christie. I do love that readathon. I do also have one buddy read that is ongoing, and that is my ongoing buddy read of books from the First Law trilogy and then the First Law world, which I'm reading with Gemma from Gemma Books and Jack from Spread Bookjoy, and we're currently reading Best Served Cold. I don't have a bookmark in this because I'm actually mainly reading it on audiobook, although I have loved being able to dip into the book as well. Best Served Cold is really, really brilliant so far, so this buddy read will be continuing into December unless we speed through a lot of it very quickly. So that's another buddy read that will be going on. The other buddy read that I hope will be happening is also with Gemma Books, and it's Reaper Man by Terry Pratchett. We read Mort earlier in the year, and we both decided we would like to read the rest of the Death series of the Discworld books. So we would like to get to Reaper Man hopefully in December. Those are all of my main possibilities and plans for December. Editing Alice here again. I just wanted to add that we haven't seen the TBR tin in this video, so I thought I would draw something from the TBR tin. But just to note that from the books that I have shown you, Arthur and George is in the TBR tin, so I will definitely be reading that for my buddy read with Carolyn's Reading Ramblings. But just in case, I'm going to draw one from the tin as well, because we did say I was going to do that every month from now on to get these oldest books on my TBR read. So here we go. It's going to be Losing You, which is really good because that is a Nikki French book, and I did have a target to read all of Nikki French's books this year, and I think I still have maybe one left on audio and definitely two left physically. I forgot that I'd reorganised my shelf so that all of the old books are together, but here it is, Losing You by Nikki French, and this is a book set over 24 hours about a woman whose daughter has gone missing right before they go away on holiday, and she is basically in real time searching for her teenage daughter. I will hope to get to that one in December as well. I will link all of the channels who I've mentioned in the description box down below Do let me know in the comments, what are you going to be reading in December? Is there a type of book you like to read in the winter months? Let me know what your December plans are. Are you joining in with any of these readathons? Are you going to be rereading anything? I would love to know, so do chat to me in the comments. If you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I will hope very much to see you all again soon for another video all about books here on Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Bye for now.